Yeah, I think he has just
8
about
right
8,
now. He's getting close. That's some huge numbers for Steve Kerr. 5, was it 2 with the Spurs, 3-peat with the Bulls, and then 2 with the Spurs?
Yeah.
And then a back-to-back with the Warriors, and then that one in 2015.
Yep. Yeah, so I want to say he's got 8.
8. That's nuts, dude. And that was sad too, what he said about how his dad, like every national anthem, I bet you before an NBA game, he was just like thinking, he was like, man, my dad would have loved to watch this.
Yeah.
And his mom was still alive. His mom was still alive today, I bet. And, who knows, but his dad definitely could have seen a lot, if not all of it. Yeah, and he's a coach right now. He was an analyst. He was like a GM for the Suns. And now he's probably the best coach in the NBA. Obviously, his team's kind of not the best right now.
Yeah.
They were the worst in the NBA, I think. But, obviously all the injuries that they dealt with.
And in that story, they had like the little segment about Steve Kerr and his dad. Like in that, segment that they had for him, Steve Kerr almost made it seem like his dad didn't believe that he was ever going to be in the NBA or have the type of basketball success that he's had. And he's like, man, I wish my dad would be here to see this, because he wouldn't believe it. Like
That's crazy, dude.
He wouldn't be able to comprehend where I'm at right now. I scored a multiple clutch baskets in the finals, in the playoffs with Michael Jordan as his teammates, trusting Steve Kerr, making the shot. And then he goes and coaches and becomes the Warriors coach.
Everything though, dude. From the beginning, I think he died his freshman year, and then he led Arizona to a Final Four with Sean Elliott. He didn't see that.
Yeah,
he didn't see him get drafted. I think he was like a late pick by who did they say? It was the 76ers? No, it was, gosh, I can't remember.
Ooh. Steve Kerr?
Steve Kerr. They said that
Suns.
his first team. No.
No, it was the Phoenix Suns. He's like, the Suns drafted me, and it only lasted 1 year.
No.
As a player?
Yeah. I think it was another team, dude.
No. He said the Suns.
Are you sure?
Yeah. He said the Suns drafted him, and he only lasted a year on the Suns. And then he went somewhere else. I think it was the Cavs, maybe. He played on the Cavs.
Cavs, yeah.
He played on the Cavs for a bit, did well, and then went on the Bulls and then the Spurs afterwards.
I think it was the Bulls. And no. I think you're right. And he said he was able to watch the Bulls play while he was on the
Cavs.
I guess the Cavs. Yeah, it's probably with the Cavs. And he was just watching the Bulls play. And he was like, John Paxson, dude, that guy.
He's like, I need to be
the sweetest job in the NBA. Role player next to Michael Jordan. Just when he passes, when he drives and the lanes are not open, dish out to this dude and hit it.
And then just hit the wide open 3.
And he saw none of that, dude.
The defense is going to collapse on Michael Jordan. Just kick it out, hit a 3 wide open.
5-time champion, dude. 5 with 2 different teams. Yep. Retired, became I think it was a GM first for the Suns. Mm-hmm. Didn't do good because, who the hell is going to fix the Suns? Yeah. Good luck.
A lot of people have tried.
Good freaking luck, dude. But couldn't do it. Tried. Left or got fired. Who knows? Who cares? But became an analyst with TNT. And I think he was on 2K, right? I'm pretty sure he was a voice of 2K. Mm-hmm. And then they had to replace him. And I remember thinking that, next year, what they going to do with Steve Kerr? Dude, they're going to have him on the sidelines? And first year as a coach, he won the championship. Yep. He got a little lucky, all the arguments that the NBA players have about injuries. The Warriors got lucky with injuries their first year. The Raptors got lucky with the Warriors' injuries that year, last year. But they got lucky or not, they beat LeBron. It was a good series. I remember it wasn't like a blowout. I think it was like a 6-game series. Yep. Got in his first year, he won the championship, got the 73-9 team the next year, couldn't finish it off, was 1 game away from finishing it the best season. I don't know, though. Do you think if they won, would they be considered the best team ever?
You can't deny that to them.
Let's say this. Kevin Durant would have joined the team. Would not. Do you think?
No. If they would have won the championship that year when they went 73-9, I don't think Kevin Durant. It was considered a soft move for him to go to the Warriors anyways. And then after they win the championship, and then he goes, no, I don't think that.
That's what I was going to say was you think the 73-9 team is the best of all time, but the Kevin Durant Warriors are better than those Warriors.
Yeah,
right? Like, how could you say that they're the best team ever when they upgraded with Kevin Durant and got better? They didn't have as many wins, obviously.
In that 73-9 season, I mean, they had a good bench. They had good role players who knew what they had to do.
And it was new. It was like how they said that Nick Foles was able to break through and win the Super Bowl because no one had that much tape on him working with Doug Peterson and all that stuff. They didn't have tape on him. So maybe Steve Kerr's system with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, no one knew how to defend it. And then he played for Phil Jackson, and then I think it was Greg Popovich too.
Yep.
Two of the best coaches maybe of all time. And he plays for them. He comes into the Warriors. He has the best shooter, probably the best 2 shooters of all time. Creates this team that no one's ever seen before.
Yep. And that first year, boom, they win. And the second year, 73-9.
It was a good story, and then they just start winning too much, and it's like, you just get tired. But it was a good story. I remember that. Even though LeBron came off that Heat loss, he won 2, lost the Spurs, led his team to the finals without, I think Kevin Love wasn't there the whole time.
Yeah.
And then Kyrie got injured like the first game of the finals or something like that.
Broke his kneecap. Yeah, Kyrie broke his kneecap. I think it was the first game, right?
And
first
Delhi,
game
though. New Delhi, I think, led like a win. He had like a win. Yeah, he got him.
Yeah, it was a tough series too. I remember that first Warriors championship. It was a tough series.
It was good, and LeBron had already won, and it was good. Like, good story, dude. But then they just became the enemies, dude. Yeah. What is that term? What is that saying? Like you live long enough to see yourself turn into a villain or whatever. If you're a hero, you live long enough to see yourself turn into a villain.
You either die a hero. Or you live long enough to see yourself be the villain. That was Harvey Dent.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was some deep stuff. I thought that was some deep quotes.
No, it was Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent. Who wrote that movie? Was the producer? It was that good guy, right? That really good.
Nolan. Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, there you go. Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. So, but that Steve Kerr story with his dad, like that's crazy, dude. His dad, he was a American in Lebanon. I mean, he grew up in
40
Lebanon.
years, right? His family or something, like his parents had been there for 40 years. Like you said, he grew up. He was comfortable, super comfortable, I bet. Too comfortable, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So Steve Kerr's dad, lived in Lebanon. He studied Arabic.
Yeah, something Middle Eastern stuff.
Middle Eastern studies.
And he was like probably a PhD to be the president of the university, right?
So then, he's a UCLA professor, whatever. And then he takes a job to become the American University president in Lebanon. So he got that job, and it was 3 months after the prior president got abducted.
Kidnapped, right?
Yeah.
He's probably dead. Like, they had no idea. They didn't say he was dead, but he's probably dead.
They kidnapped the previous president. Then Steve Kerr's dad, 3 months after they do that, was like, I'll take that job.
During a civil war, during a hardcore, beefy civil war.
And Steve Kerr's dad's mind, he was probably like, I've been there my whole life. I'm not really an American considered.
I'm almost hated. Like, he probably is like, I have no enemies. There's no reason for anybody to kill me or want to kill me.
He probably knew the language. He knew his way around. He's been around forever. But what his wife said was interesting. What Steve's mom said was that he visually looks like an American. Like, he's just a white guy, big
white
old glasses.
Hair, glasses,
visually
tall. I bet you he's a pretty tall guy. Steve Kerr's probably a pretty big guy.
Yeah,
tall.
so visually, Steve's mom was like, visually, he just looks like an American.
Sticks out.
Regardless of him being there his whole life, regardless of him knowing the language, he looks like an American.
Like a foreigner.
And at that time,
like an outsider.
in the middle, I think it was 1984.
Yeah. Or less. I think it.
So in 84, I mean, times are rough now, but I imagine they were worse back then.
40 years ago.
So in Lebanon, I'm sure they hated all of the Americans. They thought that we were the enemy. We were all devils and stuff.
Yeah. Anything to do with white people, like the just,
Yeah.
And like if he sticks out, he's a huge guy, and then he thinks he could come over to our country and teach us and influence us with their American ideologies and stuff. It's like.
And then on top of that, Steve Kerr's dad was too comfortable, like you were saying. Like, I'm sure that all plays a role in it. He didn't have bodyguards. He didn't have no security. He walked out of his class alone. He walked around campus
in the
all
elevator,
alone.
right? That's what they said. He
Something
was getting
like
out of the elevator or something for a meeting, and then they execute him, 2 bullets to the head, dude.
And he gets shot in the head, dude. And then he dies. And then Steve Kerr gets the news of that while on a road trip. I don't know what it was. I don't know when it was.
He was in his dorm. No, he said he was in his dorm at 3 a.m. and someone else answered the phone and told him.
Jeez, man.
And he didn't say it though. He choked up. He couldn't say what he was told.
Steve was like, the next day I went to practice and I just practiced. And then I don't know if it was the day after, but the next game that he played was against the arch rival ASU. So Steve Kerr played his college career at the U of A, Arizona Wildcats. And then after his dad dies, the very next game is against the rivals ASU.
Arizona State.
Yeah. And ASU was chanting all sorts of horrible things.
Not everybody. Obviously not everybody. It was just a few knuckleheads in the crowd that were just saying, horrible things about his dad and chanting. I can't remember what it was. I don't even want to
I can't remember what it was.
But whatever the case, if that's what the story was, that people were yelling at him after his dad died, who was
assassinated. Assassinated.
Wild, dude. And it's you would want to think, obviously nowadays, like you were saying how in the 80s, I'm sure it was still good times, but times have gotten better. And I'm willing to bet that nowadays people would 100% be more supportive and understand, holy crap, he went through, I don't care if you're the arch rival. I don't care if it's I bet you there's some deep hated rivalries, some deep anger. And even though something like that happens, like Ohio State or Michigan or Duke, North Carolina, if one of those players lost his dad, especially like you said, in that fashion, then there's no way nowadays they're going to say anything. Because if you do, you're going to get ousted quickly. And I bet you it was just a group of people that were just, one person did it and then the next guy thought it was funny and then they just all went for it. And somehow the news broke, dude. I'm sure it wasn't Steve Kerr telling everybody.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure it's somehow, I don't know how.
I mean, I'm sure the American media got their hands on it. Was like, oh,
or the coach or Lute Olson or someone is just there that's hearing it. This is ridiculous. And he says, and the word spreads, and he tells this guy tells that guy, and then it just gets to the media somehow. Or maybe they could hear it themselves. Who knows?
Yeah,
but. That's horrible.
They were saying all that horrible things about his dad, and ill-mannered,
poor taste, horrible taste, dude.
Bad-spirited. His dad just got assassinated, and now you're trolling
18.
him.
He's freaking a kid, dude. He's a kid.
18 years old. Just because he's on the opposite team, you're gonna troll you're gonna troll him, and it sucks. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure Steve Kerr went off, right? He had
what was it? I think he had 6 threes in the first half, made them all. Shot 6, made them all.
And that's the most that you can do. You put yourself in Steve Kerr's position. That's what you want.
You don't want to hit the fans. You don't want to interact. You don't want to stoop to their level. They're there to watch you. You're the basketball player. You're the star. They're there because of you and your team, and obviously the home team. You're there. You're on the stage. You can't meta world peace and jump over the stands and start rocking them. Even though, if that dude stood up to Michael Jordan, I'm sure Michael Jordan was not saying things about his dad. That would infuriate me. If he stood up to Michael Jordan and punched him and did some stuff, then I'm sure he had the feelings, especially being a younger person, a younger kid with that, maybe hot-headed mentality. I'm sure that he wanted to hop the stands and rock that. Maybe you don't see,
of course,
individual people, but you hear it and it's just maybe sad. Maybe some people get sad. I don't know. I would probably be pissed. If you're in a game ready mentality and a mindset like that, you're probably more angry than sad. But dude, he's bigger than that, dude. And the story broke.
He did what he had to do. He put in work on the court.
Yeah, he let his game talk for him. He was like, dude, I'm not going to.
He put in work. U of A won. He had 20-plus points, 6 threes. He went off. He did what he had to do and I guess moved on. The crazy thing, too, is how they also mentioned in The Last Dance how Steve Kerr never once mentioned to Michael Jordan about, even talked about their dads, because Michael Jordan's dad,
fashion.
Michael Jordan's dad got killed too, and Steve Kerr's dad got killed. So that's like a big thing that I'm sure both of them knew about each other, right? Like
and when it happened, let's say, but Jordan retired, right? Jordan retired after his dad got shot, and then Steve Kerr was put on the team after.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. That's right. But it's interesting, like how those kind of conversations that we would think would be like the first kind of things that they would talk about. Steve was like, no, I'm never mentioned to it, never talked about it. And he explained it pretty well. Steve was like, well, it's things that we don't really want to talk about. Like it's hard to talk about. Like
exactly. It's like, it's too hard. And then maybe what I'm thinking is he's Michael Jordan. If he's in a good mood or angry or whatever, he's in this certain state of mind and you bring up his father, and maybe not blocking it out or putting it in the back of his mind, but he was just trying his best not to think about it because he's Michael Jordan. If he's at all off his game, even on the court or off the court, if he's off, they're going to notice, they're going to destroy him on the press, blah, blah, blah. And maybe he tries to just not think about it as much. And if Steve Kerr walks up to him and says something like, I don't know, you would imagine he would say something like, I know what you're going through. Like, if you want to talk about your dad, like, I lost my dad too, I was young or whatever. I'm sure Jordan probably knew.
Yeah.
And, but it's Michael Jordan, right? Like, it's not just like
anybody
friend
else.
or like someone you heard about, and then you're like, crap, dude, maybe I should go
reach out to
him, like relate to him and tell him what I went through and how I got better